What's good, y'all? So, welcome. I'm going to be talking about Absol, some super sick buffs and changes here. But before I get into them, I quickly want to just tell anybody who's new here, and also for returning viewers, that you can always, as always, find a link in the description down below. And that link will take you to this Google Sheet where I go over all of these changes and buffs in great detail. And most importantly, you can find other sheets on the bottom as well. The most important one being the move change sheet, where I detail every single move change in the hack. Basically, every move in this game is changed or buffed, so those are super important to check out. And then, of course, there's a bunch of other stuff like custom new abilities, type charts, blah, 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 blah. Okay. There's lots of useful stuff on there, but you can explore that for yourself. I just want to get that out of the way. So with that being said, Absol has some really awesome buffs. So Absol has a lot of issues, and keep in mind, in this ROM hack, the power levels are very high. So, you know, something might seem, oh my god, it's overpowered, but when you really see it in the grand scheme of the hack, it's not really anything too crazy. It is still frail, which means that you're going to have to rely on switch moves to get it on the field reliably, for Nuzlocke at least. Obviously, if you're just doing fun, you can just sack shit, but obviously in a Nuzlocke, you don't want to do that. So, you know, but basically everything has parting shot, a U-turn, or volt switch for the most part. Most things have at least two of those for the most part, so you can get it on the field pretty easily, especially with parting shot. But regardless, you know, also like infinite use eject button, whatever. It's easy to get mons on the field now, but it still is a lot harder than, you know, being a tanky mon. Regardless, other than that, there's no real downsides to it. It's frail, but it's fucking strong as hell. Mega Absol is Dark Fairy. That is a pretty obvious. That's so I like to categorize like the changes in ROM hacks to like, okay, this actually makes a lot of sense and it should be in real games, versus this is just a ROM hack change. This is because it's cool and it's unique and it's fun. And then I also have a tier I would call like, okay, it's for balancing reasons mostly, or like overlap issues, you know, that type of thing. But Absol is one that genuinely just really fucking fits Fairy. I don't know why they didn't make it Fairy. Such a weird choice that they didn't make it. Like, it would be so, it was like one of the first megas they revealed. It would have been so perfect. But regardless, obviously I don't think anybody needs to have any convincing on Dark Fairy Mega Absol. It's very fitting. And something that you need to keep in mind in this ROM hack is that I do have the abilities and megas and non-megas balanced in a way that not only is every ability viable and that you should be switching between your abilities with infinite usability capsules, you should also be considering the fact that base Absol is actually quite a bit stronger than Mega Absol in a lot of contexts. That goes for all megas. Basically, every Pokemon with a mega is equally as good as Mega Evolution. Not equally in some cases, but it definitely has usage or viability over its mega, mostly because they have different abilities, different typings, different stats, that kind of thing. In this case, there's obvious differences. So, abilities, I'm going to quickly go over what they do, but first logic, because people might think Intimidate is weird. I don't know why you would, but there is a couple of dex entries that literally word for word say, it sends an intimidating aura flying at its opponents. That's for Mega Absol. It converts the energy from Mega Evolution into intimidating aura, blah, 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 blah. So two dex entries talk about having a literally word-for-word intimidating aura, therefore Intimidate fits really nicely. There are actually other Dark Fairy types in the hack. Mega Absol is not the only one, surprisingly. There are actually two others that I will get to eventually. And those are super hype, and I'm excited to get to them. One of them is really awesome, and I don't think but the other one might be controversial, but I like it. So anyways, Mega Absol is the fastest of them, though, and is also the only physical attacking Dark Fairy type. And Dark Fairy in general is a great offensive type combo, obviously. It's a great dual stab combo, really good. And it's actually pretty good defensively as well, if you check out, I don't know, Grimmsnarl. Just to show you the exact effectiveness. It is weak to three things, Poison, Steel, Fairy, but it actually has some really good, it has a 4x dark resist, which is huge, and then it's immune to both Psychic and Dragon, and it resists Ghosts, so it's pretty fucking good. However, keep in mind it is also weak to Bug now, because Bug type is buffed to now be neutral on Fairy, so Mega Absol is still weak to something like First Impression, for example, will drop Absol in one hit, because it's not, I mean, yes, it will actually drop you in one hit, because First Impression also crits, so it bypasses Intimidate, so you really, yeah, it'll still kill you, which is a pretty big deal, because basically all the offensive threats in the Panda hack have, all the physical attacking Pokemon, for the most part, have First Impression, not all of them, but like 75% of them probably have First Impression via TM. That's also great on Absol, which I'll get into now. So base Absol has the abilities Ruthless and Moxie. Ruthless becomes Intimidate when you Mega Evolve, while Moxie becomes Pixelate when you Mega Evolve. So Intimidate is great on Mega Absol. You are not bulky on your own, but with 75-70 bulk and the good typing and access to stuff like Parting Shot, you can make great use of the ability for utility purposes. Not to mention it's just really fast and strong. Mega Absol is also a mixed attacker, even more so than it used to be now. Which is just really cool. It has a great move pool. Also, there's a bunch of weird moves here. You might think, what the fuck, why did he give it that? Abs already had a ridiculous move pool. So the new additions, like stuff like Earthquake and Hurricane, while I acknowledge they are weird and like Earth Power, Surf, etc., like those moves are weird, but the main reason I picked them, so I'm like conflicted because I know Absol is a disaster Pokemon, but Absol doesn't cause the disasters. It just senses them. It literally says that word for word, like it's followed by a disaster, such as an Earthquake or a Tidal Wave. But it's a fucking ROM hack. It's still cool to give it the moves. I mean, tons of Pokemon get fucking elemental moves for no reason, get Earthquake for no reason, whatever. So I think it's still fitting, even if the dex literally says that it doesn't cause disasters. Like, I'm aware that he isn't summoning Earthquakes, but it's still cool nonetheless to have the natural disaster moves like Hurricane and Earthquake and stuff. It's pretty cool, regardless. So hopefully that it's cool. Hopefully that doesn't bother me too much. Also, it's just great coverage. But back on topic, Ruthless is an incredibly powerful ability. So coming back to what I said earlier about base Absol actually being stronger, base Absol will deal more damage with Ruthless crit moves than Mega Absol because there's only a 20 stat difference here in attack. There's only a 20 stat difference there, okay? And if you slap literally any boosting ability on there, actually, no, I don't think you even need a boosting ability. I'm pretty sure base Absol Wicked Blow still does way more than Mega Absol Wicked Blow, way more. Because of Ruthless boosted by 50%, and that's a gigantic boost. Obviously, that's a level 70 move. That's only for the league and post game because of how ridiculously strong it is. In fact, it is the strongest Ruthless Wicked Blow user in the hack as of right now. There may be one more that is stronger, but it is the strongest. Weavile being the second strongest Ruthless Wicked Blow user. But yeah, just insanely strong stuff. No nonsense, no intimidate. You got to work. I mean, it's not hard. Just teach first impression. It'll fucking die in my head. It's not that hard, but you know, getting something in on it safely would be more dangerous, if anything, or more risky than yeah. Because keep in mind, this is not competitive balance. This is not 6v6 singles. This is in game. You have preparation. You can look at the cheats and just tailor your moveset to deal with the threats. You know, so you have foresight there. You don't have that with it's almost, I would harken it more to Draft League. Even then, it's even worse. It's even easier than Draft League because it's not yeah, it doesn't switch out. But you know, it'll still be challenging. Of course, I know how to make challenging fights, but look, this is very unrelated. I need to shut up. Let me get back on topic with Absol. So yeah, Ruthless is incredible. As always, basically you can slap a scope lens on that and you have Stab Night Slash will always crit now. So that's incredibly powerful. You can see a little guide here. It shows you all the base powers for these moves, but Night Slash, and then you also have very powerful stuff like X-Scissor, Laceration, Cross Poison, and Jagged Edge, and also I guess Slash for normal. I don't know why you want that, but yeah, it's there. It's just for earlier on, basically, like because you get Slash before you get the other moves, so it's just for a couple levels and you would delete it. But yeah. First impression via TM, great crit move, very powerful with Ruthless. Finishing blow is also great. It also works great with hold back. Hold back gives you +1 attack and accuracy now. So essentially, what you can, it's fairy type, so it's stab. So what you could do is you can hold back, take them to red, you know, to 1 HP or whatever. Then you can finishing blow and get +3 attack. And you do have 130 base speed on Mega Absol and 115 base speed on Base Absol. That was one of their biggest flaws. Was their, well, at least Base Absol's biggest flaw was its terrible garbage speed stat. I mean, it's not bad, but like 70, like for its design, makes no fucking sense. I don't know why they made it so goddamn slow. Just looking at that thing, like it should be fast, you know? So, yeah, it's a very quick Pokemon. 115 is a pretty crowded speed tier. 130 is very high, though. Obviously, if you're fighting one, you can always use priority on it. Basically, every Pokemon has access to priority now. So that's very easy to deal with if you're smart about it. Not that it's not a scary Pokemon to fight. I mean, of course, it's very strong. You know, Ruthless means you can't intimidate it and shit, or you can't drop its stats with stuff like Battle Cry and other moves, so Charm, etc. Mega Absol is also incredible. That dual stab combo is great. Pixelate is huge, which I'll get into. But the really cool thing about Pixelate is that you can actually abuse Mega Moxie on the pre-Mega before you Mega Evolve. So what you could do is you can use Moxie. You know, you can get that plus attack boost, and then you can Mega Evolve afterwards. Not so. Despite the fact that Base Absol does deal more damage on the physical side, Mega Absol can make use of its incredible special coverage. Not that its physical coverage is bad, because it's not. It has everything it would need physically. Honestly, it has like what, bug, poison, rock, ground, fighting, everything. Okay, fairy, dark stab. Like, it's got everything it would ever need. So I wouldn't really say that any of those are like. Not that it's special. I mean, special move pool is better, but both of its move pools on both sides are incredible, so it's not really a big deal there. Regardless, it's still really cool to be able to use mix sets. Not to mention it still does get, it now gets Nasty Plot, so Nasty Plot, Calm Mind, and Swords Dance are all great setup moves. Of course, those do have nerfed PP, so you can only get one Nasty Plot or Swords Dance off, PP wise. Not to mention if you fuck it up, then you know you're out of PP. Just to make setup a little bit less broken. It's still really good, obviously, but yeah. Sucker Punch is obviously is a great move. 70 base power stat, but of course you do have, but you also get Pixelate Extreme Speed, which sounds broken, but it's already really fast. It doesn't even really need it that much. You would probably be better off running a stronger move, unless you need the speed. I did not mean for that to run. But yeah, Pixelate's E-Speed is 96 base power. Your other Pixelate moves, all right? So in terms of non-Pixelate fairy moves, you have Dazzling Gleam, which is 80 base power, 1 in 4 chance to push your special attack stat. You have Play Rough, which is a 110 base power recoil fairy type move. That's great. And then you have Radiant Edge and Hood. So you have a couple. Yeah, Disarming Voice drops attack and special attack. Radiant Edge is 95. Radiant Edge is essentially a 95 base power move that is like fairy type Side Shock, so that's great. And then Kerfuffle is a fairy type Outrage, so those are all really cool. Options, obviously, then with Pixelate you get even more, and you get stronger ones at that. So you're giving up Intimidate to have Moxie into Pixelate. You know, you can get that Moxie boost, or you can just Mega Evolve and get Pixelate straight away. With Pixelate, you can abuse special moves like Hyper Voice and Hyper Beam. Hyper Beam being a 160 base power move that drops special attack stat by 2. With Pixelate, that's 192 base power. Absolutely incredibly powerful. And then you have Giga Impact, which is the same thing but for physical. And then you have Retaliate and Hyper Voice, with both of which are 95 base power moves that become 114 base power with Pixelate, so those are very, very powerful as well. Keep in mind that Retaliate will double to a fucking ridiculous number if something just fainted on the opponent's team, for example. With Pixelate, you know, you're gonna have to take a really fucking hard hit, and you could also abuse that, but you know, if you're doing a Nuzlocke, that's not ideal. It's just a good stat move with 95 base power. That's like the return replacement, because return still exists, but I've only been giving it to certain Pokemon just because I think Retaliate is way cooler, and also because I don't know, like the power difference between return and, for example, 125 base power Double Edge or 120 base power close combat strength, or strength and normal type close combat. Keep in mind all these move changes and buffs that I'm describing. There are tons of other moves that do these effects as well, and you can find all of those in the description down below as always. So make sure you check those out. But yeah, what was I saying? Sorry, everybody, I got a little bit sidetracked. But yeah, physical special sets both are great. Obviously, physical attack is still a good bit stronger, but good thing about this ROM hack is you do have access to infinite EV training as well, so you can switch your EVs around depending on the situation. Not to mention your EVs, your IVs, your nature, and also the boss fight that's coming up. You can switch depending on the situation. You can adapt your sets, you know. But yeah, that's Pixelate. Other stuff, not too Rage is pretty cool, I guess. Rage would be 96 base power, and that gives you a +1 attack boost if you got hit each time you click it. Slash with Pixelate is not that great because you can't hold a scope lens, so it's it's very inconsistent. It's 70 base power, crits half the time without a scope lens, so it's not super consistent. Double Edge is really good. That's very powerful. And then Strength. So Strength with Pixelate is 144 base power. It's essentially fairy type close combat. It's even stronger with Pixelate, and then Double Edge is 150 base power and gives you 20% or 25% recoil. However, it does have that 1 in 50% chance to drop defense, which is huge. So it's definitely worth using over Strength if you wanted that. Strength is probably a little bit better though overall. Anyways, Fake Out and Quick Attack are also really cool before you get E-Speed for Pixelate, and then Swift as well. Swift being priority, 55 base power. So with Pixelate, that's like what, 66? Can I do math? 55 times 1.2. Pretty sure 66. Yep, 66. So that's all great. Okay, that's Pixelate for you. Great ability on it. Very fitting, especially because it gains the fairy typing, so you know it gives it more stab options. Intimidate, great. I already explained why that fits. Ruthless, I don't think I need to explain why that fits. It's a slashing blade thing with the horn on its head and the slashy claws in the tail and shit. It makes a lot of sense. And then Moxie obviously fits very well as well, and that's a great ability. Obviously, you can just, you know, SDD, Sucker Punch, Moxie, blah blah blah. You can just go to town with that, and you have all that coverage and shit. Or you know, you don't even need the priority. That's the thing, because in-game scarfs are not very common. So as long as you know you can outspeed the opponent's team, you can go to town. Keep in mind there is a speed tier guide that you can check out. Also, if you ever click this on the Google Sheets down below and it bugs out for you, and all the shit is all over the place, just click the tab off and on like I just did on the video, and it'll load just fine. It's being a little bit laggy because I'm recording, but usually when I'm not recording, it's very, very quick. Yeah, it's kind of lagging because of the recording, but it's fine. Can that load, please? Thank you. So, Yeah, if you look at the speed tier guide, you can see that Mega Absol does speed type with a good amount of Pokemon, and it is outsped by a good amount of Pokemon. Not to mention, sorry, base Absol, excuse me. So while you are a lot stronger physically than Mega Absol because of Ruthless, you don't have Stab on Fairy moves, which is important. You don't have that 130 base speed, which is important, and you don't have the abilities, that are important as well. Also, keep in mind Pixelate does bypass Sinister, which is really cool. So that's a really nice little thing. So, like, for example, you could hit Dusknoir or Hypno or other Pokemon that are going to have Sinister or that have it with Pixelate moves, so that's cool. Yeah, 130 speed is obviously even better. You're still outsped by a good amount of stuff, and keep in mind, first impression from like anything will still drop you, so you've got to be mindful of that. Definitely helps keep it in check on both the AI's side and the player's side. So yeah, it goes for any really fast offensive threat, honestly. Run this thing a Psychic Terrain, that's a different story. Yeah. Yeah, I think I covered everything here. There's a couple other cool things like Doom Desire is very strong with 60 base power. Dark type Stab. Perish Song is good for totems. Twilight Cannon is very powerful multi-base. Oh yeah, Sacred Sword is a Ruthless move as well. So not only do you have Wicked Blow, you also have Sacred Sword. Sacred Sword being 65 base power and that always crits, 95% accurate. That's a very, very good coverage move for Absol. Sacred Sword, kind of a weird move, but it fits pretty well given the vibes of it and also the horn thing. I think it fits pretty well. Yeah, all kinds of incredible coverage, literally for everyone, basically every type in the game. I think actually literally every single type in the game on both the physical and special side it has a coverage move for. Yeah. Besides a physical ghost move, but like that doesn't matter. So it's not like it needs that because it's dark type. So yeah, incredible Pokemon here. Obviously it's still very frail without Intimidate. With Intimidate, it can actually take some hits pretty well. Not to mention you can cycle that. You could Parting Shot on another Pokemon into your Mega Absol, get them Intimidate off, then you could Parting Shot again. Now you have the AI is -3 attack now. -2 special attack. So that's really cool. Okay. I think I covered everything, so I'm not gonna let this video drag on too much longer. There's a couple other really cool things I could mention. Little strategies like Power Trip with Moxie's huge. Power Trip also gives you a +1 attack each time you click it, and that has the only downside is that it has a 3 PP, but that's still incredible with a Moxie. Twilight Cannon is also cool because it drops your attack and special attack by 2, and that's 150 base power, so you can use that with Ruthless moves, and you can always crit through the attack drop, so that's pretty fun. Yeah. I'll shut up now. I think I got everything covered. Again, great utility, great offensive Pokemon, really awesome buffs and changes here. Absolute monster for Pokemon, so hope you guys enjoyed this one. Last thing I'll say is that this will be the last video for about a week, maybe a little bit over a week, because I will be going on a trip. Sorry for all the breaks in this last month, but I just have a lot of shit going on this month, so it's like holiday season and shit, so yeah. I'll see you everybody in a week. I'll be back from more videos, but gonna be taking I'll be back on the 9th, so maybe the 10th actually. We'll see, but yeah, a little over a week most likely. So thank you everybody and goodbye. Last thing, again, link in the description for the sheets. Also, you could join my Discord server if that interests you. Okay, I'm gonna leave it now. So goodbye everybody.